Shalom. This week we are reading and studying Parashat Tetzave. Our starting point for today is Clark Kent emerging from a phone booth as Superman. I think you heard me right. It's Parashat Tetzave, and therefore we should really discuss, you guessed it, the influence of superheroes in contemporary society. Why are people so obsessed with superheroes? For decades, people have found comfort and even hope in superheroes. And today, of course, they bring in big money at the box office. What explains their enduring appeal? According to a recent exploration of the subject on ABC's Nightline, over the years, superheroes have morphed to fit our social needs of the time. Whether it's Iron Man or Superman or The Flash, we need superheroes to tackle problems that are too tough for mere mortals to handle. We look at Batman as being the ultimate policeman and Superman as the ultimate fireman, said Dan DiDio, the co-publisher for DC Entertainment, the comic book company that owns both franchises. Superman is there to help people and save people. He's not passing judgment. He's not trying to push an agenda. When there are people in need, he's going to be there to help no matter who they are. Thus, from the words of Dan DiDio from DC Comics. ABC's discussion went on to say, superheroes are the Greek gods of secular modern life, otherworldly figures able to tackle the problems of this human world. The superheroes themselves have changed their metaphorical tunes ever so slightly over the years in response to the challenges we need them to tackle throughout history. For example, Superman first arrived from the planet Krypton in the 1930s during the gathering storm before World War II. In the cartoons of those early days, he fought Nazis and avenged the attack on Pearl Harbor. Please bear with me, gentle viewer. On this, I really am going somewhere. In fact, I'm going to the heart of Parashat Tetzave. But here's the thing. Capes and masks. Why do superheroes wear costumes? Superheroes are well known for their striking costumes. Ever since Superman appeared in 1938, superheroes have dressed in skin-tight outfits of bright colors with prominent symbols on their chests, as well as capes and masks of all kinds. But why? Can't someone with amazing powers wear a simple suit? Why the special wardrobe? I researched this topic, and here's what I found. Quote, many heroes have practical, power-related reasons for wearing what they do. For example, because the Flash moves at super speed, friction with the air would rip ordinary clothing to shreds, if not actually set it on fire. It's better to wear a super strong costume that can take the pounding of supersonic speeds. Even non-powered superheroes put their costumes to good use. Batman is the most obvious example. His utility belt is a vast storehouse of batarangs, smoke bombs, power tools, electronic devices, and crime scene investigation gear. Superhero costumes also have purely psychological value, which is not that different from the effect of clothes in everyday life. We don't react the same to a person wearing ragged jeans and a t-shirt as we do to a person in a tuxedo, even if it's the same person wearing them. We do judge a book by its cover, and superheroes purposely take advantage of that human tendency to aid them in their mission, quote, to combat evil. The symbolism of the superhero costume extends further. The outfit separates the wearer from the ordinary person. Dull Peter Parker changes into his costume and becomes the extraordinary Spider-Man. That thin layer of stretched fabric bridges a vast gap from the world of rent and clogged drains to the transcendent dimension of power and action and obligation. Two things we've discussed so far in Parashat Tetzave. Why are superheroes so important to people, and why do they wear special clothes? Now here's how that ABC piece summed it all up, and I quote, when a superhero dons his costume, he's making a promise. Evil may get this far, but no farther. The outfit is a visible symbol of that promise, the bond between the protector and the protected. That promise begins the very first time that the superhero wears their characteristic apparel, and it never really ends. In a sense, the superhero will never remove that special outfit. It will always be a part of them. That's the real meaning of costumes. For a superhero, A promise is forever, end quote. Now let's talk about the real superheroes of Parashat Tetzave, the Kohanim. The priests, the descendants of Aaron, whom God calls upon to minister to him. They are real because they are ordinary men, not endowed with magical powers, yet heroic in every sense of the word. So who are these men anyway? The first Kohen, the founder, as it were, of the priestly clan, was Aaron, brother of Moshe. You recall that all of Israel descended from the 12 sons of Jacob. Jacob's third son was Levi, and Aaron was a fourth generation descendant of Levi. So Aaron and his sons were designated as the first priests. Aaron served as the first high priest, and all his male descendants were chosen by God to be priests forever. Talk about that quote from ABC, "It will always be a part of them. For a superhero, a promise is forever." Consider these verses, these two verses from the Holy Torah. The Torah tells us, "And it shall be for them an appointment as priests forever, for all generations," in Deuteronomy 18:5. And this one, "For Hashem your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand to serve in the name of Hashem, him and his sons forever." A promise is forever. You know that even today, a Kohen is genetically a direct descendant of Aaron. God tells us that he chose these men to be in a position of spiritual leadership. They are responsible for, among other things, the sacred service in the Holy Temple. But what they accomplish in this world is massive. The very word Kohen means to serve and is related to the Hebrew word ken, meaning yes, which is in itself related to the word kivun, meaning to direct. Thus, a Kohen is called upon to direct himself and others in the proper service of God, as we are told, "And you separate your brother Aaron and his sons from among the Israelites and bring them close to you so they can serve me." Exodus 28:1. So God has sanctified the priests above all men, and thus he ordained special laws which affect their lives that we'll be learning so much about in the book of Vayikra. Why? Because their status is different than that of other men. The Kohanim are nothing less than a conduit for the reception of divine blessing. By attending to the various aspects of the divine service, the priests serve to bring, as it were, to bring down God's radiant blessing and influence into this world. And that's why they are commanded to deliver God's blessing of peace and love to all the people, as we learn in Numbers 6. The Aaronic blessing. "Say to Aaron and his sons, thus shall you bless the people of Israel. May Hashem bless you and protect you. May Hashem shine his face upon you and be gracious unto you. May Hashem lift up his face to you and may he grant you peace." Did you know that the Kohanim, the priests, possess special qualities? They represent the attribute, the midah of kindness, and the focusing of life's energy on sanctity and divine purpose. It was the attribute of kindness, understanding, and love for all, which Aaron, the first high priest, was best known for. And his descendants were entrusted to fulfill Hillel's famous dictum, as we learn in the chapters of the Fathers, Pirkei Avot, chapter 1 and Mishnah 12. "Be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving your fellow creatures and drawing them to the Torah." And because of their ability to invoke heavenly influence, the sages even record that the priestly families possess distinctive character traits and qualities which are part of their special spiritual heritage. They are known to be joyful, giving, and driven by a loftier nature. In the era of the temple, they were praised for their zeal and dedication to fulfill the commandments and give honor to the Creator. The daily blessing of the priests in the temple serves to open the heavenly gates of mercy, and through it, people of Israel and the entire world merit mercy and true peace. Since the priests themselves represent the attribute of kindness, their service brings the flow of God's blessings into the world. We see in this week's Torah portion that the clothing of the ordinary priests, and especially the high priest, are extremely detailed, specific, and very, very important. In the beginning of chapter 28, we read, "And you bring near to yourself your brother Aaron and his sons with him from among the children of Israel to serve me as Kohanim," of course. Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu, Elazar, and Itamar, Aaron's sons. "You shall make holy garments for your brother Aaron, for honor and glory. And you shall speak to all the wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, and they shall make Aaron's garments to sanctify him, so that he may serve me. These are the garments that they shall make: a choshen, an ephod, a robe, a tunic of checkerwork, a cap, and a sash. They shall make holy garments for your brother Aaron and for his sons to serve me. They shall take the gold, the blue, purple, and crimson wool, and the linen. They shall make the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen, the work of a master weaver." In fact, the entire chapter 28 is taken up with the detailed instructions of these commandments, the instructions for the uniforms of the high priest and the ordinary priests. But the relationship between the Kohanim and their uniform is extremely specific and extremely unique. It really has no parallel to anything that you've ever encountered. It beats everything we've said about the costume of an ordinary superhero, an ordinary immortal, because their clothing is not mere characteristic apparel or a badge of office. Our sages teach that according to the instructions that Moshe received at Mount Sinai, the very identity of the Kohanim is intrinsically bound up with these clothing, to the extent that their service is incomplete, it's invalid without the clothing. They are simply not allowed to serve God in the temple without these garments, because they are simply not Kohanim without the clothes. Why? Well, here's where the part about the Kohanim being real heroes comes in. Firstly, let's understand that the Kohen serving in the temple is the very archetype of for the people, of the people, and by the people. The clothing belongs to and is provided by the people. It belongs to the nation. He is an extension of and the representative of the people. A Kohen wearing his priestly garments becomes activated. He becomes like a charged, functioning unit, because the truth is, we are taught that just as the korbanot, the offerings brought to the altar in the Holy Temple, bring about an atonement for man, meaning that they serve to facilitate a process that helps to rectify man's lack of self-knowledge and the existential dilemma of his human condition that too often reflects the base nature of the animals. Just as the korbanot atone, so also the clothing atones, meaning the very fact that the Kohen is wearing these garments and concentrating on what they represent while he stands before God in this, the most sanctified place on earth, that very situation of the Kohen standing and wearing those clothing in that place helps to reconcile God and man and bridge the gap between them by the Kohen accepting responsibility. Thus, our sages teach, every aspect of the priestly garment corresponds to and atones for a different area of human failing. The tunic atones for sins of bloodshed. The pants atone for sins of sexual transgressions. The hat for haughtiness. The belt for negative thoughts. The choshen for the miscarriage of justice. The ephod for idolatry. The coat for evil speech. And the tzitz, the golden plate that's worn across the forehead, atones for brazenness. Just the very fact that he is wearing them while attending to his duties of clarifying the godly soul from the murkiness of the animal nature of man by the altar, the place from where Adam was created, just the fact that he's wearing them helps to effect a spiritual process of harmony and peace. Why? Is it magic? Is he a superhero come from Krypton? Or is it because he is so real and so willing to risk it all for his brethren and for the world? What did you think it really means to be a hero? The word hero is defined as demonstrating extraordinary bravery, Some synonyms would be courage, valor, intrepidity, daring, fearlessness, dauntlessness. As usual, though, I would distill the whole thing down to one word: responsibility. What is a superhero? Who's the real superhero? Who's a true hero? When the Kohen serves God in the Holy Temple, his entire purpose is to continuously rectify our relationship with the Creator. What could be braver than being a true and trusted and dedicated emissary of the people, for the people, of the people, by the people, representing all mankind, and the continuing saga of the fixing of man? What could be braver than standing by the altar, the place of the creation of man, engaging in the process of rectifying the human condition, attending to the service that itself attests to the continuously renewing creation and the order of the universe that calls upon man to rise above his animal nature and face all his potential to be the best that he can be and draw ever closer to God? What could be braver than the high priest entering into the Holy of Holies on the day of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement? There are worlds of knowledge and information on every aspect of the priestly garments and on every aspect of the study and preparation of the Holy Temple available for you at templeinstitute.org. Please avail yourselves of this invaluable resource. You know, back in Exodus chapter 4, at the beginning of Moshe's career, after Moshe continued to demur and ask Hashem to send someone else to do the work and to do the talking, God became annoyed, and in verse 14 he said, "Is there not Aaron your brother the Levite? I know that he will surely speak. Moreover, behold, he's going out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will rejoice in his heart." On these words, "he will rejoice in his heart," the Holy Rashi states, what does this mean? When he sees you, he'll rejoice in his heart? Not as you might think, Moshe, that he will resent your attaining a high position. Because of this, he cites now the Midrash, Exodus Rabbah. He says, because of this, meaning because of Aaron's goodness and humility, Aaron merited to wear the breastplate, which is placed over the heart. So Aaron merited to wear the breastplate of judgment worn over the heart, of tremendous import, representing all of Israel, because he did not have a jealous heart. Superheroes? Midot, the refinement of personal character and the perfection of our qualities, that's heroic work. Not everybody can do it. It's even superheroic. It's transformative. It's the type of person that God seeks to serve him in the Holy Temple, because everything about the garments of the priests and their service and the Holy Temple and everything about the Holy Temple and our tasks in our lives as humans, all of it, it's all very, very real. We don't need an escape. We don't need a magical immortal to do the job for us. God has faith in us that we can do it. As he himself tells us in this week's Torah portion, Parashat Tetzave, "I shall set my meetings there with the children of Israel, and it shall be sanctified with my glory. I will sanctify the tent of meeting and the altar, and I will sanctify Aaron and his sons to serve me. I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel, and I will be their God. They will know that I, Hashem, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, in order that I may dwell in their midst. I am Hashem, their God."